buenos dias. Hi, I'm Brandon Benavides, the president of the National Association of Hispanic Journalists. I'm very happy to be here. I flew in from my hometown of San Antonio, Texas yesterday. We are pleased, NHJ is pleased to be here at Hispanicize with the Pan American Life Insurance Group presenting a discussion that looks into the future efforts to foster growth, into the future efforts specifically on U.S. Hispanic engagement. There are a wide variety of barriers that the community faces, including language, fear, cultural values, lack of access, time, and finances. As journalists, we are constantly looking to inform and provide insight to our communities. We must take care of our own. The health and wellness of the Hispanic community is critical, and we fulfill our responsibility to bring awareness by continuing these important conversations, integrating experts and communicators. And with that, I present our sponsoring presenter from Pan American Life, Jose Suguet.
Gracias y buenos días a todos y gracias por estar aquí tan tempranito. Seguro que algunos de ustedes estuvieron de fiesta anoche. Thank you all for being here so early, especially in Miami, where sometimes the nightlife gets very active, so it's great to see such a nice turnout. In front of you, you have a Hispanicize wellness kit that I have to mention. Gloria is going to mention it too, but because it reminds me of my mother with Café Bustelo and Vicks Vaporub. Anything that was ever wrong with me when I was a kid was solved with Vicks Vaporub. So I had to say that, and I'm here with two hats. A personal hat is we have a family office investment company, and we, through my son Joseph, who's here, raise your hand, Joe, we led a Series A round of investment to take an ownership position in Hispanicize Media Group. And so because we believe very much, and so some of the activity that you have seen with some of the acquisitions that HMG has made is a result of us providing some fresh capital to fund these acquisitions. We're very excited about Hispanicize and Hispanicize Media Group. But my real job is Chairman, President, and CEO of the Pan American Life Insurance Group, and I'm honored to be here today with our new friends of the National Association of Hispanic Journalists. Thank you for the opportunity to you all for allowing us to sponsor this breakfast gathering for Hispanicize 2017. So we were founded in 1911, believe it or not, in New Orleans. New Orleans used to be what Miami is today. It was the capital, the entry point from Latin America into the United States, because at that point it had the largest port in the United States. That's why we're in New Orleans for over 100 years. And we've been really a choice partner for providing life, accident, and health insurance products and employee benefits for local and multinational companies, as well as individuals. So we, as a matter of fact, have a footprint that encompasses most of Latin America, from Mexico to Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, Costa Rica, Panama, Ecuador, Colombia, and for example, we celebrated our 100th anniversary in Panama in 2012. So we have a very deep experience and culture and heritage in Latin America, and it's that commitment and experience that makes us a leader in many of these countries. As a matter of fact, our tagline is the bridge to the Americas, and 65% in the U.S. of our group insurance business his U.S. Hispanic groups. So we're very much involved in that market. We're not going to change our tagline to the wall or tunnel of the Americas, despite all the current rhetoric. We're going to continue to be the bridge to the Americas. So without further ado, it's great to be here, but I would like to welcome Gloria Ordaz, one of your fellow members, also a reporter and journalist at Univision Miami, and she's got a great personal story that I don't have time to get into. But the panel is searching for Salud, Hispanic Health Matters in 2017. And I think it's an exciting panel of experts. Thank you very much for participating. I want to shout out to Dr. Pedro Casabon, who's a fellow from New Orleans, like me, and is also a member of the board of the Ochsner Health System, like I am, and a good friend. So we really, also we have a USB drive that discusses the trends in health and wellness in the Hispanic marketplace. So I look forward to visiting with you later on, and thank you again for having us, Gloria.
Before we start, PALIC has provided everyone with the USB, Jose mentioned too, containing a copy of their latest white paper, 2016 report about trends in personalized healthcare in Latin America. Additionally, in the healthy spirit, Pan American Life has kindly provided each of us with the official Hispanicize health and wellness kit. You have it there. Please remember to use the hashtag HISPS17 in all of your social posts and tag, of course, at Pan American Life on Twitter. We will reserve a few minutes after the panel to take questions. Starting on my left, please introduce yourself with name, company, title, and subject matter expertise.
Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me? Okay.
The cushion. Okay.
Good morning. Now, even though I can shout as loud as anyway. Good morning. My name is Ida Chacon. I am the vice president of client solutions for a company called the Latinum Network, where it's a membership model. We have clients and members across 15 different industries across the country, and we focus on doing research with multicultural segments. Our beginnings were with the Hispanic market, so we have a ton of wealth and knowledge and insights on the Hispanic consumer, but also cover now the other multicultural segments in the US, and now also cover millennials and Gen Zers as the over-indexes are clear.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Darian Alvarez. I'm founder and CEO of the Lab Team. It's a one-on-one personal training gym here in Miami, where we have been working for demographically in Miami, a lot of Latin. We don't have a stereotype. We have our formula to create a specific program for everyone. It doesn't matter if you are Venezuelan, Puerto Rican, Cuban. We have that formula. We have a nutrition program, supplement line, and a really interesting clothing line. We have been working so passionate for 10 years, so we are really happy to be here and to share all our experience and knowledge. Thank you.
Gracias, buenos días. Yo soy Andrea Minsky. I'm Andrea Minsky, really happy to be here. I'm a journalist as well. I'm a TV host in Telemundo and now in TLC. And I'm also the founder of Mujer Balance, that is an online platform for the Hispanic women these days. And the idea is to be healthy and to be happy. So my blog is about practical advice for that Hispanic lady that is out there. I want to look good like these guys over here. They want to feel happy. They want to be good parents, good moms, and be healthy. And I really believe that Hispanics are here to bring like smiles to everyone, but we have to be healthy, so that's really important that we have this panel here and this discussion.
Hi, I think this works. Hi, my name is Pedro Casabon, and I'm a general internist at the Ochsner Health System in New Orleans. And like Jose said, New Orleans is a city very akin to Miami in our Latin heritage and Latin presence. I'm very happy to be here. I am the system leader for primary care in New Orleans. Our system is one of the larger ones in the Gulf South, and so we're really trying to make a difference in the health of the population. Louisiana is always on the bottom, together with Mississippi, at health metrics, and we're really aiming in the future, in the near future, to improve that. And so I'm very happy to be here to be able to discuss that with a group that can spread the word.
Thank you very much. So let's get into the action with the Q&A. And the first question is going to be to Ida. We know that Latino is at the forefront of Hispanic insights and research. What can you tell us about key Hispanic health and wellness trends for 2017? And have you seen any compelling shifts or stagnant realities?
It's interesting when the question was posed. I looked back at a study. We did a huge health and wellness study to demystify some of the misconceptions that were out there, and learned a ton about Hispanics in healthcare. It was done in 2012. Since we've done a number of studies, we have insurance companies in the network and food companies and pharma companies, so they're very interested in health, and so are we. We're very obsessed, to be quite honest. And the sad reality is that there hasn't been dramatic shifts. The same trends that were there, 5 years ago are pretty similar in that, there are still Hispanic health disparities. Hispanics over-index in diseases such as diabetes, obesity, and so on and so forth. And I'm sure the doctor will talk a lot more about this. And mainly driven by some of the same drivers that we see in the marketplace, low access to insurance. And this is even when you take out the undocumented consumers that obviously legally cannot be insured. There was very slow uptake with Hispanics and the ACA, and they're still underinsured. So that's a huge opportunity and a trend that continues to linger in the marketplace. The other thing that we study consumer attitudes and behaviors, and we also see that Hispanics' attitudes towards health is very passive. It's much more holistic. It's about a balance, and so what we see there is a huge underindex in preventive care. And so again, that leads to the consequences in terms of health. And then I'd be remiss if I didn't say that there are also cultural aspects that are still surfacing as far as trends are concerned. Not only is it about the doctors and the access to the doctors that they want. And by the way, people say, our consumers say, in Latin America we used to get treated. Here we're just like go in and out, and there's no treatment, and so there's a cultural emotion that these consumers want to feel when they go into the doctor that they're not feeling. Cost. I have to say that for the most part, being healthy is really expensive.
It is.
And what we saw as the number one driver we're publishing research today, this afternoon, out to the membership. And what we saw was the number one driver amongst Hispanics or barrier, in terms of getting in the way of them being healthier, is cost. It's too expensive to be healthy, be it because of insurance costs or be it because of food cost, So unfortunately, not dramatic shifts. Still some of the very same trends that we saw years ago. And still a huge opportunity for everyone out there to help Hispanic consumers become healthier.
Thank you, Ida. Question number 2 for Pedro. As a physician, we understand you're dealing firsthand with preventive cares, disease management, and health factors affecting Hispanics. What would you say are the most important considerations the Latino community should be more in tune to?
So Ida actually spoke to many of the things that we are finding and seeing, which is for Hispanic patients, there is the combination, especially American Hispanic patients, there's the combination of genetic predispositions, earlier diabetes, more complicated beyond some cultural factors, like she said exactly, the passive nature in general of the Hispanic patient makes it such that they don't often go out and seek care earlier. In preparation for this event, I did some research, and it's an interesting finding that the largest group of patients who feel a prejudice in the doctor's office is the Latin community, as opposed to African Americans and others. They really don't feel empowered in that setting to get what they need. Add to that a predisposition already to then add the challenges presented by the American culture, which is eat more, don't necessarily take care of yourself, et cetera. And it adds up to a sort of a toxic mix. And so I think we, as Latin Americans, need to be aware that you have sort of an extra challenge. Exercise, fitness, weight control are more important for the Latin community than they are maybe for the general American population because of those predispositions in the background. It's also important to come to understand that you do have power over health matters. One of the most effective interventions for chronic diseases like hypertension, diabetes, et cetera, is an active lifestyle and a dietary plan. And so these folks here, I'm sure, will be able to speak to that. In the past, you went to the doctor for your information about what do I need to do to get better. Our friends here who do more about fitness and diet may actually have the key to many of those chronic diseases.
Bueno, hablando de dieta, no creo que el bacon que se están comiendo por ahí sea de dieta, ¿no? Y ahora le vamos a preguntar.
And it's not that easy to live it. So I mean, no, you can know it, but it's hard to live it.
In the morning, you can
Darian va a
balance.
hablarnos de eso ahora. Darian, based on these trends and medical needs as a fitness trainer, by the way, gym owner, meal prep nutritionist, and supplements company owner, what are some of the preventing care habits that you recommended to us?
The most important thing for me and my company, our slogan is "We have the formula." Is create easy ways for the Latin. I put myself as an example. I came here 11 years ago. I didn't have time to work out, to eat good. I didn't have the knowledge. I started my career as a hobby. I didn't know what was gonna be my future, but I wanna be healthy. I wanna know how to eat. I wanna know how to train and maintain my body healthy. Because when I came here, I gained a lot of weight. I came here with 160, and I go to 220.
Wow.
So I had a lot of problems. I have 2 jobs. I had to study. I didn't have time to eat right. I didn't have time to go to the gym. I always had an excuse. So my work is to teach our client how to work and how to have a healthy lifestyle. 80% is nutrition, is the most important thing. 20% is exercise. And you can divide 10% is in a gym and 10% you can do by yourself in a park doing cardio. So we see our nutrition program as a medical prevent. We work, and we are working really hard in the price, because we see in the supermarket and Whole Food, Publix, really expensive the food. We have been creating a system that you can have in your house every morning, the most important meals.
Especially now that everybody wants to eat that organic food.
Maybe from Monday to Friday. I'm Cuban. I love croquetas, pastelitos, and a breakfast like that. But I take like como un regalo. At the end of the week, I maintain myself 80%, like eating right from Monday to Friday, and on Saturday and on Sunday I eat whatever I want. You need it. It's something like.
And how do you deal with those obstacles, like job?
If you have a goal, and if you have been in that situation and in a doctor, I like to prevent. I don't want to fix a problem. I want to prevent that problem. And when I start studying nutrition, I don't know how to say, but it really changed my life. Like, I know what I can eat, and that's our main goal. Teach people around the world, not just Hispanic, but when Hispanic come to this to U.S. or you have the same lifestyle of your parent as an Hispanic, you're gonna have the same problems. Maybe at 30 you're gonna have diabetes. Maybe at 40 you're gonna have blood pressure problems, and sometimes it's not genetically. Sometimes you have been eating the same stuff that your parents and your family has been teaching you. So it's really important to understand that nutrition is the most important, and you can prevent a lot of problems in your health.
Thank you. Andrea, what do you see Hispanic consumers seeking online health information? How?
Gracias. Yes, okay. It doesn't matter the bacon. It's all about balance. So you better work out after this and you're going to be fine. I believe like Hispanics are looking for information, for practical advice, more and more online, and more on regular people like me. They reach out to me and say, okay, how do you get back after your 2 pregnancies? And please tell me this, and what do you have for breakfast, and what do you give to your kids when they go to school? So I think they're looking for information, but they want real people, and they trust the doctor, but they say, okay, maybe the doctor is not doing it himself. Like, how do you cook in your house? Like, they want like the practical advice, and they're looking for information, and they ask me so many things. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not a doctor. I tell them, okay, go to the specialist. But they're looking for that information that they can implement easily. So I think that's our responsibility as an influencer and as everyone that is a public person to really be a positive example and give them ideas. Like, for example, I walk with my kids every day to school. So I show my social media. So if you see a crazy lady walking with 2 kids, doing squats in the way, when the light is there, that's me. But people like that because they can relate, and there are things that they can do on their own. So I think that's like a new trend. They have a lot of access to information. You also have like the little girls that they're like, I want to have your belly. I'm like, it's not about the belly. It's not about the bikini. It's not about the bikini body. It's about your health, about feeling confident, about having the energy, and don't have any problems like diabetes, obesity, and all of that.
Thank you. Ida, I'm sure there are also generational differences in how Hispanics seek health information and manage their medical issues, right? So
Yes, certainly
tell us
we
more about that.
we see younger generations, millennials specifically, perceiving themselves as much healthier than older, than boomers or Gen Xers, certainly, and we see it in the numbers across all multicultural segments, to be honest. And I think there's a ton more information out there. There's a lot more access, and for Hispanics, on top of that, they tend to cook at home more often. They're cooking more often, all 3 meals, and therefore there's this perception of healthiness that certainly is impacting kind of how much healthier they're perceiving themselves. That doesn't mean that they're necessarily healthier, but they are perceiving themselves much healthier.
Okay, let's go back to Pedro. Seems there is a plethora, a surplus, places and resources, but who does the Hispanic consumer trust? What do you tell your patients?
Yeah, so shopping for health information nowadays is a gigantic challenge. Any site that you go to tries to introduce health and health maintenance as a part of their product. You have to be a little careful that sometimes the information that you're given in a certain context may be a little biased towards an aim of potentially marketing something with it. So often I advise patients go to sort of unbiased centers, things like a Mayo Clinic site, WebMD, et cetera, and find out sort of the basic information, and then from there, when you're trying to make a choice about how to implement something, find something that the information aligns with. Another important thing that's nice to know is one of the strategies in primary care for the future is to try and implement team-based care. So it isn't just the doctor is the source of information. It's the doctor and the dietitian and the exercise person and the pharmacist and the diabetic educator together giving a patient information. And so that feeling that someone mentioned about sometimes the Latin patient goes to the clinic and doesn't get that hour-and-a-half visit with information, they feel like they were not given the complete product. In fact, we now deliver with the experts. No one can teach you a diet like a dietitian. No one can lead an exercise program like an exercise specialist. And so it's important for folks, Latins and all people, to begin to understand and trust the other members of the care team as sources of good information that can lead you in the direction that you want to be so that we can take control of some of these health matters.
Thank you, Pedro. Darian, putting together trends and resources, we also see other platforms advancing from gene operations to even fashion, such as usable tech and apps. Any insights?
Yes, like right now, the social media has been helping a lot the fitness industry. It's really interesting because it's trending to be healthy right now, but you need to know where comes the information. A real professional in the fitness industry can pretend to be a doctor. A doctor is the person that works specifically in your problems. The personal trainers and nutrition expert can prevent and can give you result and can give you like a lot of source to have a really good lifestyle. A lot of apps right now, a lot of products are working in your lifestyle and helping you to track the calories that you have, the water that your body need, how many steps you have been doing during the day. So it's something like you have a lot of options right now. If you really want to do it, if you really want to change your life, it's not something that you can see as a stressful thing. Like you gotta enjoy. You gotta find the way that you like to work out. If you like Zumba, you can do Zumba. If you like to go to the gym and work out an hour, you can do it. You just need to find the way and the exactly system that work for you. So concentrate in the nutrition. That is a lot of apps too that can help you in the nutrition stuff. And enjoy life and enjoy that you are healthy and alive.
And not only the water that the body, not only the water that the body needs, also the wine.
Yeah, you can have a woman can have 5 drinks per week and a man can have 7.
Not bad.
You can put on the weekend and
Los
you
hombres
can
siempre
balance.
adelante. Los hombres siempre adelante. Qué barbaridad. Andrea, last but not least, let's chat social media. For example, for journalists, bloggers, and influencers in the room. Any tips from you on how to properly share health, fitness, and wellness content on social media?
Yeah, follow me, please. Andrea Minsky, like you see it there with and Mujer Balance also. So basically, I think the idea is to be really true to yourself. Like if you're gonna share any advice, it should be something authentic, something that you believe in. And we were talking about cost, and a lot of, like, when I get with some Hispanic ladies, they're like, no, it's too expensive, but it's not really. If like a banana costs the same as a potato chip bag and is more nutritionist, like lentils, and there are so many food that you can cook that is easy. And you just can spend 5 minutes of your day prepping something good for your family, and it's not that hard. So every time I cook something for my family, people are like, you're always in social media. I'm like, I really want to share things that work for me because I know they're going to work for other people. And moms are like, thank you so much. Today I sent something really good for my kids. They love the little note that I put in the healthy breakfast for my kids. Say, okay, te amo. Like also, like put also like your culture. We love to dance, so dance is a really nice way to exercise. You will see my videos, and I'm like dancing with my kids, working out with them, and they think we're playing. Like play tag in the park with them, that burns serious calories. So there are like easy advice that can help people, and I'm sure like for you, it's different. Like so you are a professional in your industry, and you post everything that you know about it, and people believe because they see yourself, and they're okay, it should work.
Claro, una manera de estimular a la gente que te sigue. Any don'ts?
Any don'ts? Like try to don't be like involved on politics and religion and all of those
I'm
things.
a journalist. Don't tell me
okay,
that.
Okay, this is different. Okay, but it's not your personal opinion. You're like having the facts. And also, like, if you work with any brands, I think it's really important that you just work with the brands that you really love, because people are going to believe in what you say. So a lot of people, like sometimes I get McDonald's, I'm sorry, somebody from here, they are like, we're having a healthy option. I'm like, I'm so sorry, but I don't want to promote your brand.
So related with health, you never put anything that create controversy.
Exactly,
That's the message.
exactly. And what works for me was different for everyone. And for example, the recipes, we like our Latin culture. And so I put like the arroz con gandules and the patacones, but with a healthy twist. I'm like, okay, put it in the oven. And instead of having 5, you can have 2. And then you can keep being happy, healthy, dancing, sabrosura, pero con moderación.
Thank you very much. Now, at this moment, we would like to take a few questions from the audience to our panelists. Después de, okay. Your name? Carmen.
I'm from Latino TikTok, so I love Hispanic. I'm trying exactly to do the same thing. Show the culture that it's not hard. It's about balance. It's about just substituting, and in order to be healthy, you don't have to leave your traditional from the side. So I'm really enjoying the panel, and I just want to say that I was like, yes, amen. So thank you for bringing this Panamerica, because we need to be more aware, and as social media influencers, put the word out there that we can make a difference. And like you say, I mean, we can do it, and we can show people that it's not hard, and it's never too late to live a healthy lifestyle. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other question? Your name?
I'm Jorge. I'm actually from Hispanic Mental Health Counselors of New York, and I have a question for Dr. Casabon. What do you feel is the state of mental health in the Hispanic and Latino community? Because we actually have a small niche in New York for basically Dominicans.
That's a
But
great
we
question.
want to know what's going on in the broader, Central and South America holistic Latino community.
So I think the Hispanic community, in many ways, because of culture, have a harder time managing mental health issues. It is not an overt culture where one feels comfortable saying, oh, I'm being treated for depression and my anxiety was terrible last week. It's something that we sort of keep internally. And so I think the more that we can do to support people in feeling comfortable that mental health is the same as any other kind of health, and feel comfortable in stating that to a physician, ask for the advice on how to get better. What other tools can you do besides just pills? Exercise is a very effective method of managing mental health. I think the stigma is probably the biggest challenge for the Latin community. I don't think there's any genetic predisposition to anxiety and depression more than anyone else. It's just how we put self-boundaries on it, and we're not able to get the help in the way that other cultures that are more comfortable with that can do.
We still have time, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was wondering, with Hispanics, specifically in the teenage age, what are some of the things that you recommend? Anything maybe from social media to, more from the specialist doctor, also to working out, to encourage kids to be active and to, through social media, encourage their friends too?
Like the lifestyle of a teenager in United States based in Latin. I work in one of my work when I came here was in a school cooking for them. So there I saw the problem that they have. The school here are like competing with the food that they like, pizza, burgers. So they need to cook the same. So when they get home, they start playing Xbox, PlayStation. They see commercial that the influential artists or the most important people for them are doing the Coca-Cola campaigns, Pepsi Cola. So it's something like they have two problems. They have a lifestyle and sedentary, and they don't like to work out sometimes. And they're watching a lot of TV that the products that they like, they have whenever they want. So the parents are the role models. If you start like seeing that your kid had that problem and a teenager is having that problem of obesity or self-esteem, it's a family. You need to we need to work as a role model, as a family. That's why it's important when we have this type of events that everybody understand that you have a responsibility not just to grow the kid going to school, have a good grade. They need to have good health, and you are the example for them. So it's something that maybe you right now you don't want to be in the most important shape of your life, but if you teach a teenager, it's gonna be their lifestyle.
Can I add? We did some research with younger Gen Zers. These are people that are very purpose driven. They want to do good for the world. They want to be a part of something bigger, movement. And so if you're trying to engage them, try to connect that to a bigger purpose, right? I think that's a very nice way of engaging these Hispanic teenagers. The other thing that I would say is think about kind of where they come from. They live in the middle of these tensions. Talking about mental health, we see super high suicidal rates amongst Hispanic teens, and it's because they're living in a very tense situation where they're trying to adhere and adapt to American culture, but then they have to adhere and adapt to their Hispanic culture, and which is being kind of forced at home, and then the street, and then that pressure creates a lot of stress and tension. So I think that kind of understanding where they're coming from, the fact that what he said, they go home, they eat something, they see something, they do something, they're at school, they see something completely different, do something completely different, and they're trying to manage between those two worlds, and breaking and solving for that tension is another way of really engaging these younger consumers in getting healthier and be more active.
Another question, someone? Okay.
I hear everything, but I live in Puerto Rico, and we speak Spanish all the time, even with doctors and physicians matters. But I have the question that in the research and for the doctors, I noticed when the people is here, we talk Spanish, but we don't talk the same language as the doctors. And they said, and what about the research, is the language a barrier to go to the doctor to see what is going on? Because I can speak English, as you see, but when you're talking about cancer, diabetes, and you talk some specific things, they understand. They would like to go there. What is going on with that when that kind of situation happens? How do you see it? They would like to visit the doctors again. Do you understand that it's a treatment? Language is a barrier at the end.
Pedro?
I would absolutely say that language can absolutely be a barrier. I do speak Spanish. I speak better English. I was born in America, but my parents are Cuban, so I grew up in the house with Spanish. So I can understand perfectly what a patient says. I can reflexively answer back pretty well. I think that I can get some understanding. In New Orleans, many of the Latin patients now come to me, which is great. They can express themselves. It's very important to be able to describe your symptoms in a way that someone can understand, as opposed to trying to translate it into English and then hope it gets right, etc. Difficulty is if I'm not there, they get used to this, and then this English-speaking patients, it becomes a challenge. Language absolutely is a barrier, I think. I think also cultural understanding is a barrier. Patients come and they describe things in certain ways that remind me of how my parents would describe it, but does not remind me of how my wife's family, who's American, would describe it. And so that's another element of communication that is lost. The solution to that is maximize the number of Spanish-speaking physicians in the workforce, and that becomes a challenge for many reasons. Especially like in a city like Miami, you'll have plenty of folks who speak Spanish in other cities where the Spanish-speaking community is smaller, especially in the medical field. That can be a challenge.
Yeah, and language is most definitely a barrier across the board. I mean, not only with the doctors, but also it's interesting. We do research on claims like, gluten-free or fat-free or calories or, now it's sugar, now it's paleo. Like, who knows? One of the bigger, when we look at the barriers, lack of understanding. Like, what's, you know, when she talked about the bacon, I was like, no, but bacon is perfectly good in a paleo diet. So,
Depends.
you know, it is.
Pero
so,
no con las papas, ¿no? ¿O sí?
no, you can't have the potatoes on that one. Actually, I don't know. I don't know. The point is, there's not only language, but there is a lack of understanding generally. I would argue that that's general, by the way. I would argue that that's what's driving the epidemic, right? And there's a lot of people making money out of that confusion, by the way.
But when they like something, when they play video games, it doesn't matter if you're Latin or you speak Spanish. If they like it, they're gonna understand English. When they see YouTubers and influencers and Instagram that they like it, the makeup, the fitness, it doesn't matter. They are gonna find a way to understand them. Translate. The thing with health is to find a way that you can communicate and they can enjoy it at the same time. Because when a young kid likes something, they're gonna understand. It doesn't matter the language.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I would like to add something for your question over there for teenagers, because I think it's really important. They are like the generation that are going to be adults really soon, so it's really important to empower them. Self-esteem. I think if you help them with self-esteem, that's the most important thing. I get all these followers in Mujer Balance, all these teenagers, and they write really like scary things. And they really, like, we have to tell them it's not about looking good, it's about feeling good, it's about doing something better for you and for your community. So there are a lot of races out there that help other people. Like I work with Women's Health in this initiative that is run 10, feed 10. So you run 10 miles and you feed 10 people in your community. So teenagers get involved in those things really well. There is also an app called, I think, Charity Miles. So for every mile that you run, a company gives some money for charity. So when you get involved in those things, they like it and they feel like powerful, and it's not about looking good, but also about doing something good for others.
Gracias. Gracias a todos nuestros panelistas. Ha sido un honor estar aquí en el día de hoy como miembro de la Asociación Nacional de Periodistas Hispanos. Y para concluir, yo creo que lo más importante no es la edad que tú tienes, sino la que aparentas, sobre todo, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Quiero recordarles a todos, por favor, que todas las fotos y mensajes que publiquen hoy en las redes sociales, que recuerden hacerle el tag a Pan American Life en Twitter. También tienen en la página que quiero compartirle con ustedes en Facebook, es facebook.com/panamericanlife. Tengan todos un excelente día, revisen toda la información que está en el USB que se les proporcionó y ojalá que salgan de aquí hoy un poco más saludables.
Thank you, everyone.
Gracias. Buen día.